I'm Catherine Cook, Executive Director, and this is part 2 of Hostess Coaching, how to keep in control of your party calendar and how to really help prevent cancellations. Now, I just want to preface this by saying there are a lot of leaders on this team who do things very differently. So I'm going to discuss several different options for you and take what you like, leave what you don't. But definitely I recommend that you find a system that works for you and use it regularly. If you find that you're getting more cancellations or reschedules than you would like, think about tweaking your hostess coaching practices. So I actually require a guest list to be given to me in order to hold a party date. That's something I actually talk about right away in the consultation room or when I book the party over the phone or however I've booked that party. I talk about it right away. And there is a separate video that has some scripting on how to make that super easy for you, the words that you can say. But again, I require a guest list in order to hold a party date. I tell that to my hostess at the time that they book, and I generally give them a time frame in which to get that guest list back to me. Generally, it can be anywhere from 3 days to 7 days, depending on how far out they've booked the party. Now, so for me, a guest list almost always includes some type of personal invitation. And again, this is something that I do for my hostess. I do not expect them to do this because passion parties is not their job. Like, they're excited and they want to have a great time with their friends, and they have life happening. And it's not that you don't have life happening, but it's not their livelihood or their vacation money or why ever you do passion parties. It's not affecting them if the party reschedules or cancels. It affects you. So again, I do the invitations for my hostess. I do this as a service for them. It makes them feel awesome. It makes things so simple for them. But it also makes sure that my calendar stays as full as I want it to, and that I have parties when I want to have parties. And I know well ahead of time if for some reason a party date isn't going to hold. So again, I do the invitations for my hostess. I will do mailed invitations. I will do phone call invitations. I also send them text messages to forward out to their friends. If they're on Facebook, I will set up a Facebook event for them, and I actually manage the Facebook event as well, doing all the posting and all that kind of thing in it. Or if they're not on Facebook, but they email all of their friends, you can also use Evite. There are all kinds of different manners that you can use. The most important thing is that you are using them. You want to make it as easy as possible for your hostess. Again, in this society nowadays, we're very much about instant gratification. So you just don't want to be on the receiving end of one of those texts 5 days before your party where she's like, "Oh, I need to reschedule because nobody's coming." But what actually happened is that she forgot to invite people. And she doesn't want to tell you that because she's embarrassed because her kid got the flu or whatever. But she didn't get a chance to invite anybody. And she's like, "Oh gosh, nobody's going to book. Nobody's going to come now. It's only 5 days notice. Oh God, I better cancel this party." So again, getting a guest list can help avoid that because you're sending out the invitations, you're making the phone calls, you're doing that work for her, making it way less stressful on her. So again, I generally require some type of personal invite to be done in addition to Facebook and text messaging, because electronic invitations are wonderful and they're so great in this day and age, but they're also really easy to overlook. So I require that we do some type of mailed invitation or phone call invite. The mailed invitations, they do have some that you can purchase from corporate. Those ones are great. I actually made my own up on Vistaprint. I have 2 different versions. I have a regular invitation, and this is just a standard size postcard that I had made up and personalized. I have a regular invitation, and then I actually have a bachelorette party invitation as well, which is a separate invitation that talks about bridal bucks and that kind of thing. So those are so simple to use because it literally takes no time at all to print out mailing labels and stick them on here. Like, you actually, believe it or not, on here have room for 2 mailing labels. I put one label over here that says who, what, where, when. So basically who the hostess is, when the party is, where it's at, and a little blurb about bring 2 friends for a discount. Then I have an address label, boom, that goes right here. So again, 2 of your standard size mailing labels. I think they're 1 inch by 2 5/8 inches or something like that. I type them up in Word and print it out. Boom. Throw a stamp on there and it's done. So again, super simple. Also, if I have a hostess who says, she works in a hospital or some area like that where she doesn't maybe like call her friends or something like that a lot, but they all work together, I will also print these out with the who, what, where, when label over here, and then mail her however many of them she needs to hand out at work as well. Because again, you don't want to necessarily rely on her doing that because life happens. And again, it's not her schedule that changes or her money that doesn't get made if the party doesn't happen. So the mailed invitations is one way. Again, the other form that I mentioned is phone call invitations. That's one that I've actually done for years. You can actually make the phone calls yourself because here's the thing. If your hostess is planning to invite people via phone, she's going to spend hours inviting everybody on the phone because she's going to call them and she's going to have to hear about how their dog Sally is sick or how their mother-in-law did something silly last weekend. It's going to take her a while to get through her list to actually invite people. Whereas if you either personally call them yourself, like manually call them, like it's going to take you like a minute. And again, you can leave a voicemail, and let them know who you are if you don't get them. But it's going to be so much faster for you to do that than it would be for your hostess. And again, if your hostess seems a little reluctant, you can assure them that you're not going to solicit them. You're not going to sell their phone numbers. You're going to do one invitation call and maybe one reminder call, and that's it. So assure her of that, and I think that will help immensely as well. That will ease her mind some. So the phone calls, there's also services that you can use. I actually use a service called postcalls.net, and there is information uploaded again in the various Facebook groups about that service, but it's super awesome calling service. I input the phone numbers that I want this message to go to. I call in and I record the message, and then I schedule when I want that message to be sent. I actually send my phone call invitations generally at about 10:45 in the morning, because I figure most people are awake by then in case they're sleeper inners. But it's also like before lunch break for most people. And because I want that message to go to their voicemail. I would actually prefer that it go to their voicemail so they can reference it later rather than actually them live answer. But again, it's 7.5 cents a phone call. And you buy 500 phone calls at a time. I think it's $37.50. It's awesome. Like 500 phone calls lasts a long time. So a hostess can give me 30 phone numbers, and it literally takes me 5 minutes to input the numbers, record the message, and schedule that message to go out. So it's super, super awesome and very, very easy. And again, a huge timer saver for you and for your hostess both. So those are some forms of personal invitation that you can do for your hostesses. And again, that's in addition to the text messages and the Facebook events. And those are a little bit separate, but the text messages are super simple. There are documents, both I believe in the Document Center. I think it's called the Hostess Coaching Texts. They're uploaded there. They're also on the various Facebook groups, but super simple text that you save in your phone, and you just plug in the correct, date and time, send it to your hostess. And then for your hostess, like all she has to do is copy and paste it or forward it to her friends, and boom, it's done. Again, that literally takes you about 30 seconds to send the email to her or send the text message to her, and then she forwards it to her friends, and boom, it's done. And I think there's a series of like 4 or 5 of them or so, and there are actually different ones for both a regular party and a bachelorette party. So make sure you keep an eye out for those. But I do highly recommend that you save them in your phone so you don't have to type them up every time, because you'll use them a lot. And again, you may as well work smarter, not harder. So the hostess coaching texts are so, so important, so awesome. And then as far as the Facebook event, that's a whole other thing that you can do, but it's so awesome, and it makes it so, again, simple for your hostess. I set up the Facebook events for my hostess. I make them a host on the event, and then they can go in and they add all of their friends. But generally from that point on, I handle everything. Like there are all kinds of pictures on partnersmag.com that you can upload. You can upload the hostess rewards. You can do trivia. If you have video snippets of your presentation, you can upload the little video snippets. The key is that number one, you want to make sure that Facebook event is set to invite only. Do not make that like a guests and friends or a public, because not everybody wants everybody knowing their business that they're going to a passion party. So make sure that it's set to invite only and keep it active. Like I generally post on Facebook events. Well, I set them up about 3 weeks ahead of time, and I post on them probably every 2 or 3 days and more frequently as the party date gets closer. But if you have any specials, for instance, like if they get discounts if they bring friends with them to the party, put that stuff on there. Or if there are any specials like on products or hostess specials that you have going, put those on the Facebook events. Because again, even if they can't attend the party, they might say, hey, I want to book a party of my own. Or they might decide they want to become a consultant and join your team. So put a good variety of information out there on that Facebook event. Like I said, the key is really you just want to keep it as active as possible. And things like trivia or like there are certain little games and things like that you can play. That's got a ton of great ways to basically keep it active. So again, that kind of covers like doing mailed invitations for your hostess, which again are super awesome because a lot of times they end up on the fridge. So that's handy, and they are less likely to forget about a party. I think a statistic is something like they're 70% actually more likely to attend something they were personally invited to. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about invitations. So I covered mailed invitations, phone call invitations, and there are scripts actually posted in the Facebook groups for both my invitation phone calls and my reminder phone calls. The hostess coaching texts, so save those in your phone. Makes it so simple for you and your hostess both. And then Facebook events. Again, main things with that, make sure it's invite only and that you keep it active. Like you post all kinds of fun things on there to keep them excited, to keep them engaged. And you can absolutely ask your upline if you need some examples of things to post on your Facebook events or where should you find pictures for your Facebook events, that kind of thing. So that is part 2 of hostess coaching.